Kyle Austin, Baumgardner here in Chicago at Big Ten Media Days, where we just wrap things up. Michigan players and coaches spoke today. Michigan State players and coaches will talk tomorrow. And as expected, a bit of the Harbaugh show again. Maybe not quite as much as last year, but he's certainly the main attraction.
Yeah, he seemed. I mean, you were here last year. He seemed more comfortable this year. He talked a little bit about how he's more comfortable with his players. He knows them better. I think he knows some of the media members better, frankly, too. So he was more comfortable this year. He wasn't as standoffish or awkward, I guess you would say. Still didn't say a whole lot, but gave some insight onto he was asked a lot about the hype around the team, and he gave the same quote that he said at some point this summer: if people aren't laughing at you about your goals, then they're not high enough, which basically means, and he said, any goal we have is very high, and we can do it if we follow the step-by-step process. So basically, long story short, they want to win a championship. They're not going to come out and say, we want to win a championship, whatever it is. So that's the basic gist of the day.
As far as specific news, it sounds like Darboh, they do expect him to be ready.
Chesson. Yeah, Chesson, conflicting issues now, because Harbaugh had said he believes that J.O. Chesson, who had a knee injury in the Citrus Bowl and missed all of spring and wasn't really doing anything last month, Harbaugh said he believes he'll be ready for camp. I asked Jordan Lewis, has J.U. been running with you guys at 7-on-7s, and he said he's doing some stuff. So we'll see. And that's the only really injury of note. He said there was a couple other guys, but he wouldn't give specifics on their names, which I guess we'll have to find out later.
I thought the most effusive stuff he talked about, at least in his opening session, was Jabril Peppers.
Yeah.
Really some pretty effusive plays, I thought, from him.
About Peppers. That's as much as he's gushed over anybody, really, since he's been here. I mean, he basically said, he said he thinks, NFL athletes are, in his mind, the best athletes in the world, and he said he believes Peppers is on that level. He believes he's an NFL athlete right now. He said if he were to play offense, which he will this year, maybe he would be their best slot receiver. Maybe he'd be their best running back. He's already their best wildcat guy. I mean, he went on and said that he thinks if he continues to do things the way he has done them, then he can just be, the sky's the limit. Gushed a little bit about Jordan Lewis and Jake Butt as well, but not like Jabril. And then the other note, so we asked, Jordan Lewis was here, Jabril was not. I asked Jordan Lewis if he ever wants to touch the ball, and he said, without blinking, that he's going to put it out right now, that he wants to play offense this year, so Jabril Peppers might not be the only two-way player. He hasn't told Harbaugh about this yet, so we'll see how that goes. But that was the biggest note, probably, from the player availability.
And then obviously with Harbaugh, it goes beyond his players and what's on the field. There's all of his tweets from the offseason, there's all of his camp stuff. I mean, how did he kind of wrap that up? He spent an hour talking to reporters, a lot of different things came up. How did he kind of wrap up his offseason?
Yeah, I mean, he deflects so much of that. I mean, it's the satellite camp stuff. He went along with the same, I thought it was a lot of fun. He had a lot of fun working with those kids and everything else. And, he couldn't see anything wrong with it. I think he got asked if he was going to do the spring break thing again next year. He said he didn't know if that was going to happen. I know someone had asked if if he felt the need to apologize for any of his tweets at, Gene Smith or Kirby Smart or whomever, specifically Gene Smith. And he said, no apologies necessary there. And then I think he was asked again, like, have you felt the need to apologize for anything you've done since you've been Michigan's head coach? And he said, no.
No.
So there you go. Little difference there. And the Brady Hoke era was a public apology every other week. Jim Harbaugh, whether he's right or wrong, was just never going to apologize for anything. So that's.
And he thinks the cool kids like his rap.
Well, yeah, he said the cool people like me and they like my rap video. So he also said the only people that he's found that don't like his rap video are uptight white people. Jim Harbaugh. So yeah.
Well, that'll about do it for today. Mark D'Antonio, Michigan State, will be here tomorrow, along with Ohio State and 5 other teams. So we'll check in with you tomorrow from here in Chicago. Until then, stay with MLive.com for your coverage.